Now, I don't want to make light of a potential serious situation, but there are many, many men in this best ball virgin community that would have loved to have been stalked by a 30-year-old girl on X, and then they would have never deleted their account. They would have just ran with it. But we're so happy to have our guy T-Box back. We were a little worried there for a second when he left. Turns out it was just a little misunderstanding with a potential stalker situation here. But I mean, that sounds like what dreams are made of for the best ball community here, Nez. And him being the upstanding gentleman that he is, just wiped his hands with the situation and removed himself from the X.com.
Yeah, that's not a very relatable thing, I don't think, for a lot of folks in our space to go through what he was going through. But that's what happens when you are just the stud of T-Box's caliber. I mean, he's got to fend off the women, I'm sure, at all times. But I'm glad he's back, and it seems like there was no like danger in the situation, so I think it's okay for us to laugh at. I think he might have. I think he might have been like falling for something. I would love to know more details on it, but regardless, I'm glad he's safe.
Yeah, exactly. I think we can laugh about it now. It's gonna be funny to hear the full story. I hope we can get him on the show again sometime soon and push it through. But he's such a important member of our community, so it's nice to have him back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So big day on the platform. We just got the Pomeranian dropped. 50 max entries. That's a pretty fun contest there. I think it's 75K ish total entries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, we got 2 baseball slates. They went like the old school hoops route of splitting up the slate. So included the games that start at 6:40 Eastern, which is something new that we haven't seen. Kind of cool that there's less overlap, I guess, in the slate because this one will basically finish before the after. Well, maybe not finish before the after dark takes place, but the games will not have started for the after dark. So it's 11 and 4. What'd you think of that?
I mean, I thought it was a pretty cool idea. I like having less games on a main slate for sure. Once baseball is the only show in town, I'm excited to see what we can get these prize pools eventually up to. But I like the baseball slates. I haven't even started the after dark drafting yet because I'm trying to get in my main slate drafts, and I really like the main slate itself. But no, I think it's a good idea when you like when the stars align, so to speak. Whenever you actually have the scheduling work out how it works out, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there that it makes sense. It's nice to not have the overlap between the 2 slates, just in terms of like
Right.
spreading out variance. And I know it was a big conversation for us during the NBA time. I think if you're going to do it like this, I think the second slate shouldn't be dropped until the first slate closes, especially if it's going to be as small as it is. Like it's only 600 something entries. If it was going to be like, 2000 entry as well, and they're 2 completely separate different slates, drop them at the same time. Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a fun experimental idea there. I think I'd rather have multiple price slates or price points for the main slate. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a fun thing to experiment with there.
Yeah.
Little disappointed we didn't get another NBA slate. They're I guess they don't want to overlap the games. How do you feel about overlap in the games?
It doesn't bother me. If there
Yeah.
was if there was a slate up, I would be drafting it.
Yeah, I feel similarly. Maybe like the 6K up top, like 13,000 entry could fill today, especially on a Friday.
You could totally you could fill you could I would honestly, man, I'd venture to guess with the 4-person drafts, you could do like a 60K would fill comfortably, even though it's 12 o'clock right now. A 60K
Yeah.
would definitely fill comfortably. For whatever reason, not being dropped, but yeah, definitely a little bit of a bummer. Any excuse that I can have to put some money down on these NBA games, I'll take it. So
Yeah,
Uh,
especially when you
yeah.
got all of them island games nationally televised, like blah blah blah. We'll still talk about the hoops and stuff. Do you have any sweats going into tonight from carryover from last night?
Yeah, I have like a couple, like one lineup specifically in the main slate that like doesn't have Tatum, doesn't have Miles Turner. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, cool. Like we might actually be able to do
Maybe
something.
we're live.
Yeah, I mean that I would not have. I didn't think that 11 points, fantasy points, was in Miles Turner range of outcomes
Yeah.
during this series. Like that was such a bummer because I was taking him a ton.
Well, obviously, extreme anomaly outlier performance in terms of fantasy output, but I have a minute reason as to why it occurred.
I would please enlighten me because I've been
He
just no excuses from my end.
he had 18 real life basketball points in the first half of game 1. Who was he going up against? Luke Cornett. They gave Luke Cornett big ass minutes in the first quarter comparative. Then they've adjusted their rotations, way less Cornett on him. They switched up the defensive matchup and they put Jason Tatum on him for a bit last night. I don't know if that makes him run around more. I don't know if that makes Tatum a better defender than, Al Horford or Luke Cornett. It's just what I saw in terms of what they changed. So I don't know. Maybe it's something little nugget for us to stash away going forward in this series. Uh, if
Yeah, yeah,
Cornette's not going to get it run, yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, he's been a really good player for them all the entire playoffs. That Miles Turner, that is, and it's not like he's like posting up. So, I mean, yeah, I think maybe Tatum on him might have found something there.
yeah.
Now obviously,
It's
like the oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say it's really interesting that in the first game of this series, obviously prior to last night or whatever. And it's a little caveat because the game went to overtime, but we saw the highest points scored of the season by Drew Holiday and Miles Turner in the same game versus one another in the first game of that matchup. So it was kind of like daring those guys to be the guys to beat them on either side. And then they put up numbies because of it.
Yeah, Holiday's been having himself really great playoffs. Pretty hilarious. That like just kind of just like a sleeping giant all regular season. Didn't really need him to do too much, and now the bright lights are on, and he's just relishing in it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say obviously like the elephant in the room is like Halliburton's injury. I saw a clip of it and non-contact looked like it was like a little bit of a tweak there, but it didn't happen like mid sprint. It was looked like he was like in the middle of like playing some defense. Don't know if that's better
It,
or not. It kind of seems like it might be. Do you have like a read on if you think he's gonna play or not?
Well, obviously it's scary because he didn't come back into the ball game. But just like the play itself looks like, I mean, not a doctor, but like his knee kind of went back and like hyperextended. It looked like he was about to get crossed up and then he caught himself, right? Like he crossed over, then he literally crossed his feet over as he was getting crossed over, and then his left foot kind of stepped back and you know, I don't know. Yeah, it was unfortunate to see because they're dead in the water without Hallie. As much as I throw jokes about Hallie being soft and not, they're better with TJ McConnell on the floor. None of that's actually true. They need Hallie in a big, big way, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bummer if he's not there. Good next game. It's GG's.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I will remind everybody that Pacers haven't lost on home court since March 20 something. That's my fun little stat right now.
Mm,
Yeah,
that
that's my little nugget. It's probably only like 8 games, but it sounds like a long, long time ago when you say like March 20 whatever.
it does.
Matt, we got a 2-game puck one up tonight. We'll dust off the model, jump in there. Shout out to all the people who took the lower because you know what I'm doing right now, Nez? I'm jumping straight to the platform. I'm jumping in to the model to start this off draft, and we're kicking this thing off with a bang. Oh, I had this one pulled up because I think it has legs tonight. I think the nuts going into tonight will be if anyone was able to roll Jaylen Brown plus Luka. But the 4 highest scoring players from last night on the same team here. with Derek Jones there. I think I might have some legs with this one, but we'll see.
You do, and the higher just hit. So
Oh no, I was so close. I took one detour to get us to here. Nez, let's start with puck. Let's dust off the model. These series have been really good to start. Amazing double overtime game last night.
yeah.
McDavid got it done. He took a 4-minute high sticking penalty right off the opening faceoff of first overtime, and then comes out. Almost scores. Ottinger made a crazy good save. Almost scores to end it in first OT, and then he comes out first shift of second OT, and a little tic-tac-toe, how you doing? Backdoor tap in for McGoat.
It was looking bad to start the game, man.
Mm-hmm.
2 quick goals for the Oilers had me scared. And then Dallas made it a nice game. I was watching it. I was at a dinner last night for some of Bria's work. It was like a gratis or whatever in exchange for some posts, and it was really nice. We haven't been to this restaurant before, and they invited us to they have like a members only like cigar lounge. So I got to like pretend I was big shot in there, and they had the NBA games and the hockey game in there. So I was back there puffing, like, give me like the smallest cigar you have. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and nurse this thing for an hour. Yeah, you got any Swisher Sweets back there? And got to watch some of the game.
Captain Blacks were like our high school one.
Oh, really? Like we had like Phillies blunts, Swisher Sweets. That was like what we would literally we wouldn't smoke dope. We were like literally smoking the cigars because as soon as we turned 18. Because that was that's how we rebelled.
Connor McDavid right here.
Yeah, McDust. Why not?
McDust it is. I mean, he almost had a breakaway the other night, or last night rather, and it was tail end of a shift, and he got caught up from behind, and I was like, he doesn't normally get caught in that position, even if he's really tired at the tail end of a shift. There's a non-zero chance. We did the Pedersen thing yesterday that he was a little bit banged up and stuff like that. There's a non-zero chance McDavid's been playing through something for a while now.
Yeah, and look at him still slicing and dicing, like it doesn't even if he's 85%, just still the best on planet Earth.
Yeah.
I might have to go see him, man. If they can come back to it won't be game 2, but if they can come back to Dallas, I will.
You got a visitor, dude. Get your Mr. Good Boy number 2s in the chat. Oh, man. TA clowning me for always being distracted here. Man, we are crawling in this draft. We got 2 auto drafters in here who have not pushed the plane? What's going on here?
Tough call with these 2-game hockey slates.
Holy. Supposed to hit a puck one right off the top here and bang it out. This is crazy.
Are you coming?
People are nervous, man. They know we got the model going for us. Get out of here. Sorry.
Kachuk goes dog. There. Kachuk with the GWG in game 1. Dude, such a postseason guy. So nails.
Okay, so we lost our we lost Draisaitl. Damn it.
Yeah, Dries goes there. Kachuk goes there. We'll see what the Trotrek drafter does. He just takes Hyman for some reason. So we've lost all our kind of stacking partners. Unless we want to go Bouchard and Nuge, we could go.
Do we have all the Dallas guys left, right? Or are they just like not concentrated enough?
They're definitely not concentrated enough, but we could definitely go the Dallas route. Their power play looked nice last night. Let's do Robertson and Wyatt Johnson.
Yeah. You got to go Wyatt Langford.
Anytime you can take a Wyatt in the state of Texas, Nez is in.
Yeah, that's say less. I'm immediately bought in.
I think of the two like series, it feels like the more wide open and higher scoring of the two will be the Edmonton Dallas one.
You think Rangers got this Florida one in the bag, or no?
No, I don't think they have it in the bag. I just think it's going to be more tightly contested, more physical. I think Dallas is going to do their best to like try and bang the shit out of the Oilers, but yeah, just the way that I see it playing out is just the power play is going to be so crucial to the Rangers' success. That's what I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Florida's up one.
Oh, okay. I just
Yeah.
assumed that based on what I've been hearing, everyone was making it seem like the Rangers were like the nuts. They're the team to beat, but maybe there's just too many Rangers fans in our Discord.
Probably that's definitely a contributing factor. They definitely have the best goaltending left in the playoffs, although Ottinger stood on his head last night. But Igor is all sorts of nice and could steal a couple games in the series there. Noah asking, yeah, where invites for the BadgeBros to Neumy2's wedding? Tough scene, man. Tough scene.
He met us in Miami and was like, yeah, these guys cannot come to a celebration of my wedding. There's just no way that this can happen. He immediately rescinded our invites.
Could you imagine open mic Neumy2's wedding? And they're like, does anyone have something nice to say about the bride and groom? And I'm just like 3 cocktails deep. And I'm just like, I got this, guys. I got this. Hand that shit over here. Neumy2 would be crawling in his skin. He would be like, oh God, no, please.
Oh, I would be telling you to push the plane on this speech.
Okay, nobody's taking any of the tendies. I think we should go ahead and take Igor here. And just because we're playing the other game, and then maybe we take Miro with the Dallas stack and then have a contrarian one-off. What do you think?
Yeah, that's too easy.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, gotta go Igor.
One thing I will say about the depth of Dallas, like Dallas looks extremely deep. They got some good veteran leadership on the back ends of those offensive lines, or of the forward lines rather. But man, they were not playing their defense very deep. They were keeping it really tight with like only 4 defensemen, and they could burn themselves on a deep playoff run if they're not willing to stretch the bench, or if they just think they can't stretch the bench, because a game that goes to double OT and your 5th and 6th defensemen are only playing like 10, 12 minutes in regulation before the overtime, you're in tough there with big minutes if the series runs long.
Yeah, just selling out for this one series is does not seem like the move.
Very Tibbs X.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's Tibbs, and the next thing you know, got a fractured hand.
Yeah,
totally why. Totally why.
GA 100% right. Sagan looked really good last night. I mean, I will bring up our boy Jamie Nails was the guy who picked off that puck, dangled the tendy hard, and then slid it over to a wide open cage to Sagan to score that first goal. So Jamie Nails doing his nails this type behavior.
No Visey, man. I was watching him last night. Just
no
absolute
Visey.
Nails.
No Visey. Last man left with no Visey. They moved him up to the first line at one point there too to just get some juice going.
Interesting.
He was double shifting all over the place. He's like the oldest dude out there double shift. Actually, Pavelski's the oldest, but you know what I mean.
All right, so
all right,
who's your contrarian one-off here?
Not Kane. We could do Kreider because he's a goal scorer on the power play. The problem is most of his goals are always assisted, so someone else is coming along with him.
I think Kreider's like the only one that makes sense because like you can't do Tarasenko. We've got Igor. I mean, negative. You could, but that doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Fun. It does make the most sense, does it not?
Kreider.
Yeah.
Yeah. That basically had to be Kreider.
Kreider it is. Kreider it is. There's our definitive puck draft right there, Nez. Actually, I wanted to bring up a funny one from this weekend around here. Is the Whitecaps sold out the whole barn for it's like $60,000 for an MLS game. They sold out the whole place tickets are going for like $1,000 down low, $900 in like the middle and stuff like this, because everyone thought Messi and Suarez were coming to town this weekend, right? And on the backs of their season tickets, they were like you guaranteed to get this game, guaranteed to whatever. So they really ratcheted up the season ticket stuff. Neither of them are coming on Saturday night.
You
People are
guys got rugged?
dude, no one's coming.
Wow.
Yeah. So Miami
Wow.
FC, I guess Messi was hurt or whatever, didn't play one game. Then he comes and he plays their last home game. And then there was anticipation that like, oh yeah, he played that game. So now he's gonna make the trip to
Yeah.
Vancouver. Now neither of them are even coming, I don't think.
Oh, dude, that's what a rug pull. That's
Yeah.
awful.
Dude, I mean, being the astute young man that I am, Nez, I didn't pay that premium. I know from my basketball days and my basketball experience to wait until we have those Q tags, those lineups in hand before I spend $1,000 on tickets. But man, I really wanted to see Messi, and that sucks for people who shelled out.
That is so funny that like that is 100% transferable. The experience of doing hoop slates and
Yeah.
getting rugged on no Messi. That's like
Yeah.
draft. That's like that's the same thing as drafting Giannis all day just to get the injury report that he's out of nowhere.
Nez, before we jump into the baseball stuff, there has been some questions in the chat, some GMs all around here. Do we have any strong takes, strong plays in the pick'em lobby, particularly for the hoops tonight? We could sprinkle in some baseball stuff there. Do we think the Jaden McDaniels stuff continues tonight, playing absolutely out of his mind? They Dallas did exactly what shout out me, Nez, for the previous show for the first game of this series. I said they're going to play off of McDaniels. They're going to dare McDaniels to beat him. They're going to do all that sort of stuff. And then McDaniels did his best to try and beat him. It didn't come to fruition. But do we think that continues tonight? Is there anything on the pick'em board that has piqued your interest for the hoops tonight because we don't have something to draft?
In in our Discord, someone brought up Derek Lively double. It might have been Rick here, in aka Kiwi Cat. Lively double is a big spice,
Okay.
and I kind of like it, man. For 4.75x,
yeah.
that seems like something I would hang my hat on. I mean, I don't. He almost got it last game, 9 points in game one. I think the matchup makes sense for him to play a lot of minutes. Man, I don't know. Like this multiplier, this just screams to me like this is a good multiplier. I don't know.
Okay. No, I like it, man. He definitely looked the more athletic of the two bigs in the first game of the series. He was all over the place. I was pretty out on playing Dallas bigs on the first slate of the playoff contest because I thought the length and I mean like the length and the size of Minnesota was undeniable. And I thought even like when they get switches and stuff like that, you're dealing with like McDaniels and he's still 6'9".
Yeah.
Like even when you get a positive switch for the big for Dallas, I still thought they wouldn't be able to rebound to the same capacity that they were able to in the previous series. And they proved me wrong in game one because Dallas was all over the glass in the same way they were against OKC. So if that holds true this evening, and if Gafford gives us one of his patented go into the locker room for a couple minutes before halftime there, and you get that extra 3-4 minutes of Derek Lively run before half, because Gafford is renowned for going to the locker room slightly early and then coming out and starting the second half, I can get on board with this. So I do really like that shout. Anything else from the basketball that you want to add to this? I think when we do a 4.75x, we should probably only make it like a 3-1. But anything else to keep it hoop specific, or do you want to branch into baseball to get the other stuff?
I mean, these Jaden McDaniels projections, like this dude's been hot all playoffs. Like you mentioned, like Dallas is playing off him. I mean, take your freaking pick on these hires. Like for me, the 12.5 points seems pretty damn nice. 3 straight games with over 21 points, and he's playing stupid minutes. Like
Mhm. And
I like it.
there's nothing they can really do like from a matchup standpoint. What would you do if you're Dallas, right? Like if you switch up to go offense and you put like Tim Hardaway Jr. on him, he's going to cook them. If they put Luka on him, which they're just trying to slough off on the defensive end, he could cook them. There might be some gal brain to put Luka on Gobert, like something like that. Maybe they could do, which would result in Jaden McDaniels having like a better defender against him. Because I guess all you're trying to fade is PJ Washington and Derek Jones Jr. on the other side of the court. And I don't really see a way in which Dallas can put either of those bodies on Jaden McDaniels because they're going to be using them in a stronger capacity, right?
Exactly. Like I just think it makes sense. Like they kind of have to, you know, take make a decision on like who they're going to like allow to beat them, and I think McDaniels makes sense. Luca on Rudy would make a lot of sense too.
Yeah.
This dude just
That
doesn't
would
want to
be
play defense, so
I think that would be like the biggest switch I would make if I was Dallas. But then again, they won in game one and they could just do whatever they want. And Luca just conserved energy until he had to just go crazy in the fourth quarter. Hat tip though that this is the Kyrie series. This is the Kyrie scoring series with the handling. They want Kyrie to have the ball in his hand and just go after Ant Edwards on the offensive end.
yeah. I honestly I was shocked that Dallas took game one, but we'll see what happens in this game too. I think I got Wolves again.
Okay. Yeah, I respect it. I mean, I do think if you just look at the box scores and just look at all the categories that the T-Wolves dominated in game one, similarly to what the Pacers did in game one against the Celtics, it's actually insane that either of those teams lost those game ones.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's pretty nuts.
All right, I'm going to put Kyrie in here so that we can keep it basketball only. Wow, that dude, there's a little first quarter one here that I kind of like too.
For Kyrie or someone else?
Well, GA put it in the chat here. First quarter points for Jaden McDaniels. You just need 1-3 to hit the higher on that one. And I'm staring at this 5.5 from Kyrie. I think they've kind of flipped rules. Luka said they kind of flipped rules mentally as like Kyrie being the early scorer and then he comes on late kind of thing, like the inverse of what they did in the previous series. I think a little Kyrie 5.5 first quarter and Jaden McDaniels 2.5 first quarter feels really good too.
You're gonna fade the Kyrie meme?
What's the Kyrie
Luka meme where you stat pad all watch in the first half. Kyrie sits back and just watches Luka cook, and then Luka gets all tired and then just sits back and lets Kyrie cook. You're gonna go against the meme format. Okay.
I went against the meme in game one and it worked out in our favor. I think this series is a flippening of those two roles. I think they want Kyrie to attack, man.
Well, they certainly do. I don't know why he hasn't. I mean,
yeah,
it's definitely not part of their game plan to say, "Hey, Kyrie, like, be more like shoot less." Definitely,
right.
Definitely, like one of the most prolific scorers in our generation. Like, don't score. Just don't. Like, I think they would love that. I don't know why it hasn't really manifested itself into more points, but this is like where. So this points projection is bumped. He's been like chilling at 21.5 and 20.5, like almost all playoffs. So this 22.5. I mean, it's literally one freaking point, but it is a little bump up.
I was going to float your way that we take the discount on the 18.5 if we do see that bump being a little too high for us because we did the double as such an outlier.
It is an outlier. I just feel like
kind of put a condom on it.
I feel like such a cuck when I take the sub one multipliers. Like, I just feel like such a freaking loser.
All right. No hedge here. One BBM entry on this. That's 28.5 with just those three 25 gets you
Sheesh.
7, 12, 50. That's a big one. That's a big one.
Wow, that would be fun if we smack that. Make sure, hey guys,
Okay.
if you play this pick'em and we hit, can you just do us a little favor and just pretend like we're just like the sharpest dudes in the world? Can we just get a little love on Twitter, on X? John's been begging for it, man. We every now and then, broken clock's right twice a day or whatever the fuck. We just a little, just like, wow, man, these guys, they talk ball, they know ball. If this hits, that's all we ask in return. Yeah, you get a nice 80x, but that's all we ask.
Star Tour's asking Naz Reid extra minutes this series. I mean, they needed the scoring last time out. And it's interesting that the minutes came somewhat at the expense. The minutes came somewhat at the expense of Cat, which I found quite surprising because Cat only played 31 and he wasn't in foul trouble, man. He only had 2 fouls. So I don't know what their hesitation was in terms of playing the double big lineup and having Cat and Gobert out there together all the time. I thought that would be like playing into their strengths to just play bigger than Dallas, but
yeah,
I don't know what it was in game 1, but if that trend continues, the Naz Reid pricing is probably wrong right now.
Yeah, it could have just been like a little hot hand.
Yeah.
Right, like I'm not sure. I mean, I thought Naz Reid was going to play way more than he did. I was pretty disappointed. I mean, he still had like a good game because of the stocks for fantasy purposes, but I mean, he did not have a great plus minus when he was out there. I mean, that could always change, like that was my thinking, and yeah, it didn't happen game 1. Doesn't mean they can't make adjustments and play him more. But I totally agree with you. I thought they would just like size up and then, let Jaden McDaniels do their thing, like on the wings, like on the perimeter. Yeah, like I said, I still think Minnesota wins the series. I just think that they match up so well with Dallas that I was blown away that they lost game 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in lockstep with you there. I'm going to add this one here if anybody wants to get in on this. I loved the chat suggestion from GA there to go ahead and just, 1-3 from Jaden McDaniels. Good UW boy in the first quarter there. And then I'm going to spice it up, Nez. I'm going to spice it up. I'm going to cross pollinate this entry with the sport of my most knowing, I would say. And I'm going to go Spencer Steer. Your
Nice.
boy. We are going to spice it up. Wow. Only getting a 2x on the home run. Wow. That is not nearly as good as I thought. I thought we were going to roll over here and we were going to get a 3x Spencer Steer.
He's in Great American Small Park, man.
Yeah. Great American Small Park, 80 degrees. James Paxton has not been the James Paxton of old recently. 13% walk rate, 13% K rate. Like, he just isn't striking out people. He used to have success against righties with fastballs at the high end of the zone. Spencer Steer is going to hit third today. Spencer Steer is going to homer. We're just going to go ahead and add this one in there. If you want to put the condom on it and you don't think the 2x is good enough for a home run spice, just take those fantasy points because I like this one.
Yeah, James Paxton is like such a he's weird because the ERA is like pristine. It's sub 3. But then you look at literally everything else and the dude strikes out like per 9, like 4 guys, and the FIP and XFIP are all like screaming for regression. So yeah, he's probably doomed. Another player that I was looking at too that like as far as like interesting underlying values numbers was like Kyle Tucker. And this is strictly just BABIP analysis, which like, is not everything. But Kyle Tucker, his BABIP in the last like 3 weeks. So his WRC plus in the last 3 weeks is like 180 or something. He's on fire. His BABIP is 190 in that stretch. So like he's kind of getting on. Like, I don't know if it's because of the home runs. I know home runs kind of affects BABIP, but like he's getting unlucky, and he's still one of the best players, if not the best player in baseball right now.
Yeah, he's been one of like the 5 best players in baseball for the last 3 weeks, last month, maybe for the entirety of the season. He should be a fringe MVP candidate, and he's unlucky. That's incredible. I love that.
I was blown away by that. I was holy shit, man! Like this guy might not be getting drafted high enough in the 7th inning stretch, and he's already like a top 5 pick.
He's already a top 5. Yeah,
last I checked, the ADP does move like quite a bit, just because there's not a lot of liquidity there. But in the 7th inning stretch, Kyle Tucker is 5.6.
Wow. Would you? I floated this in the Discord the other day. Who would you trade all your Kyle Tucker shares in the OG Dinger contest for right now? Would you trade Julio Rodriguez for Kyle Tucker?
I didn't draft a lot of Julio, but yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Likewise. Would you trade Kyle Tucker for Mookie Betts?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
Aaron Judge. I think so, man. Oh no, not Aaron Judge.
Okay, so you still like Judge ahead. You still like Soto ahead. What about Acuna versus Tucker rest of season?
No, I'd still go Acuna.
Okay.
But yeah, Tucker's so I mean, awesome. I'm pretty light on Tucker, which is like upsetting, but
Tucker or Jordan rest of season?
Now that's a good one. That would be hard for me not to say Tucker.
Yeah. Just the ability to run. The defense keeps him on the field. He's been a beacon of health and consistency comparative to Jordan. But Jordan might be the best pure hitter in baseball outside of Ohtani.
Yeah, Jordan in real life is is different than in fantasy, where Tucker can just give you more fantasy points.
Crazy. Wild stuff. Okay. Tucker home run, Spencer Steer home run, and let's add one more to it.
Okay. Let me think who I like today. Do you want to do anybody from the Phillies in Coors Field, or you kind of off that since they're going to be inflated?
I'm good with it once we look at the price tags. Maybe if we go like a slightly contrarian angle, like an Alec Bohm comparative to like everyone's Bryce price, like the Bryce Harper. I mean, the one thing about adding in Colorado is I would actually like to do fantasy points or total bases more so than home runs, just because of like, everybody knows even with the wind blowing out slightly at Colorado, it's not the best home run park on planet Earth, whereas Great American Small Park is. It's just one of the best fantasy and run scoring parks in baseball.
Yeah, exactly. Got 9.5 fantasy points for Bohm.
9.5 fantasy points for Alec Bohm. One of the RBI leaders in baseball, going to be hitting right between Schwarber and Harper. Let's go ahead and add Alec Bohm into this. That feels good.
Yeah, I like it. Against Ty Black. No fear in my heart there.
Yeah, one of my nuggets I was saving for our baseball segment, but we are pushing right into the baseball segment right now, is the Rockies went into extra innings yesterday, and they didn't have a starter go deep the previous day. So they have used 7 relievers in the last 2 days. So even if Ty Block, who is a guy who traditionally doesn't go deep and does get hit hard, even if he doesn't go like, the 3, 4, 5 innings or whatever, the bullpen behind him is depleted.
Good nugget. I like that.
Thank you.
Load
up. All right, one BBM entry to win ourselves 675, 2 home runs there. If you don't want to use Spencer Steer twice, you can go ahead and take him out. Oh no, it just went away. Live pick 'em. Damn it, I have to do it on
Lost
mobile.
the link.
Yeah, I lost the link, but I can still revive it and get it on mobile unless you enter it and then
I can do it. Let me I haven't played it yet. Let me go in here one by one. We got Bohm fantasy points. Oh. We've got Tucker homers, Steer homers, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Ghost AF throwing in a couple good ones in the chat here. 2 of our favorites, Ozzy Albies and Ketel Marte, both hitting versus lefties. They are known significantly better. The inverse of Ellie De La Cruz, where they are significantly better against left-handed pitching as right-handed hitters in the power department. So that's a really good shout from Ghost AF there.
Yeah, but Albies isn't just going against any lefty. He's going against Bailey Falter. So you sure you want to play Austin? You sure you want to play Aussie Albies against the fault god himself? I mean, there's no better play on the board right now than Bailey Falter to go higher 15.5 outs with a 1.1x multiplier. I mean, I'm just saying, guys.
Oh man, the Pirates. Oh goodness. Yeah. Speaking of Pirates, Paul Skeens and Mason Miller both came back a little bit down to earth last night. Unfortunate to see, but Skeens still pitched decently well, but only the 3 strikeouts comparative to the 6 no-hit innings and 11 Ks. They're bound to happen eventually.
They only gave up one run. But
only gave up 1 run. Yeah, it was just unfortunate that they lost that game late and end up giving up so many runs. That was ugly. Nez just added that one to the chat. Chipsy's asking, can we talk about how the Phillies are the best team ever? I mean, dude, that rotation is no joke with Ranger Suarez, the way he is pitching right now at the back end of it. You got 3 guys at the front end of the rotation who could conceivably be like, of ace caliber when the playoffs roll around. And that Bryce Harper dad strength is no joke either right now. So very, very solid ball club. A lot of fun to watch right now. I saw on the internet yesterday that they had 40. It was a day game on a Thursday, and they had 44,000 there on a May 23rd day game.
The most unemployed city in the world. Let me tell you.
Love it. All right, Nez, let's, you know what? I'll bring up the rankings real quick for the baseball just so we could talk through anything. The biggest things on the slate are obviously aforementioned Phillies being at Coors Field versus Ty Block. Obviously, like the lefties in the lineup, not overly scared using Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. Almost everybody else in that lineup, I believe, will be right-handed today, unless Bryson Stott or Brandon Marsh somehow draw in. I think Stott more likely of those two, but just something to keep in mind there. And then the Dodgers going up at Great American Small Park, as we previously mentioned, going against Graham Ashcraft, who I will remind everybody, reverse splits guy. So the righties have actually fared better because of the cutter versus him in basically forever, his entire career sample size. So whether you believe in reverse splits or not. And then weather on the slate, Nez. Cubs and Cardinals looks dicey, but not necessarily unplayable. And Baltimore at Chicago, I have basically just completely taken off my board and let other people in the front end of draft boards catch those falling knives of Gunnar Henderson and Corbin Burns, despite being in what appear to be really good spots versus Flexen and versus White Sox for Corbin Burns. What do you think?
Yeah, I am, pleasantly surprised that these Orioles are going so high. The edge is still there. We're absolutely fading that. When you get an orange red on the Roth scale, you just heed that. So, and Cubs and Cardinals, that one is tough because like it might play. It's dicey as he says here. Okay, you got to pull it up. And with Shota, like if we get a delay, like let's say they start the game, delay it after 3, and then you just like you lose a start from Shota there. That would be obviously very upsetting. So that's a tough one. So I'm kind of just like avoiding it though. There's other pitching options on this slate that I'm not like too worried about. But Baltimore, Chicago, just no draft for me at all.
Yeah, we're in lockstep there. And then I've taken Shota a couple times, but only when he falls to like the 5th or 6th round when you're in like a quote unquote sharp room. And I'm just like, now he's worth the risk. And if the worst thing that could possibly happen is he goes and then then he doesn't carry on and he only goes like 3 innings and the game gets suspended or the game gets cut in half. But if they just delay and then he goes, you're getting a screaming value in my opinion. especially against the Cards, who traditionally should have been better against left-handed pitching, but they have not been this year. So just throwing that little nugget out there. I've been doing the Shota thing a little bit when it falls, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to do it is if he falls, like you said. That's the only way I would do it. And I would not do it every time if he does start to fall a lot, just because, like you said, you have the risk of him getting hit with a rain delay.
Okay. Yeah, fully agree with you. Braves are not starting Darvis Vines. They are starting Ryan Kerr, who basically only has 40 big league innings under his belt. Got his Savant page pulled up here. He's a 29-year-old. He's a lefty. So just the handedness might switch up your interest in some of the potential Pirates there. So just wanted to put that on everybody's radar. 29-year-old kind of veteran guy with only 40 innings under his belt, who has given up big time expected hard hit and expected WOBA in the past. But strikeout rate's been okay the last 2 years, but primarily as a reliever. So we'll just add that to everybody's radar. Yeah. Anything else you want to say, Nez, in terms of macro on the slate, or do you want to deep dive a couple of your favorite pitching targets and a couple of your favorite contrarian stacks?
Contrarian stacks. I'm always building out Rangers. Always building out Rangers. We got a little bit of wind to straight center in Minnesota today against Bailey Aubert, who Bailey has been pitching pretty well. But you know, the Rangers are heating up a little bit. Corey Seager's on an absolute tear right now, so Seager and Adolis are there for you quite a bit. So definitely into that. I think Mackenzie Gore starting for the Nationals. Is that he doesn't have the green check, but I do believe he is starting there. So you know, Mackenzie Gore is pretty good, but just thinking about sneaky stacks, I think the getting to some of the Seattle righties against Gore could be beneficial as well.
Okay. One thing I'll say about that is we used to joke about the Mariners being murderer's row of righties. You know, when Teoscar used to be in the middle of that lineup and some of that, they have really changed their complexion of their lineup over the last little bit here. And Jorge Polanco, don't know, still not on the IL. Not sure if he'll be back in the middle of that. They could do some stuff with like Haniger, Dylan Moore, blah 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 in the right. But this lineup plays better left-handed now, which is extremely weird to say because the Mariners have basically flip-flopped that because Luke Raley's been going so nice. Cal hits better from the left side than he does from the right side. But yes, I do like the shout of getting to like, you know, Dylan Moore, Ty France, Julio, and Mitch Garver in the middle of that lineup could be fun.
Yeah. And I guess another like, I don't know that I would like stack, but Kyle Harrison in like Kyle Harrison and Christian Scott are both good plays today, and they're like some of the cheapest pitchers on the slate. But I'm always going to have my eyes open on Pete Alonso going against a lefty, even if it is in New York. At
love
the
that
pitcher friendly park, but he's really cheap because he's not been playing very well this season. So.
No, I like that. Two of the better pitching prospects in baseball there, but also two that have been hit hard in recent memory. Not recent memory, but just this season, actually. But yeah, definitely some strikeout upside between the two of them. But if you're looking for one-off home runs, I love the Pete Alonso call there. Probably won't mega stack against those two spots there. Right. Two that I've been going to thus far. I really like the Red Sox today, and I really like the Twins. Two of the ones I've been going to there. Give me a little Ryan Jeffers plus Byron Buxton. Give me a little Edouard Julien leading off there. Feeling it.
Is Alek Manoah back?
That's a great question. His pitch mix and his distribution have been completely different. He's gone back-to-back starts, I believe, without giving up an earned run there. I think it's 14 straight scoreless innings.
I believe it's 14.
Yeah. Where did I where am I going?
Manoah. There you go.
Manoah. Yeah, 14 straight with 13 Ks in that time frame. A lot of talk about him switching up the pitch mix and kind of like pitching in reverse comparative to in the past, where he used to be like a fastball lead guy, and now he's kind of like going righty thumber mode, even though he throws hard. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's back, but I'll definitely be mixing some in today when he's going against Detroit, who's been striking out at a decent clip thus far.
Yeah, it's kind of sticks out because I was like thinking, oh, like Manoah, like first glance saw Manoah against the Tigers, like, oh yeah, Tigers are going to be sneaky here, and then I was starting to look at some uh of the projections for the Tigers, and I was like, oh, Manoah's getting a lot of respect. I know they're playing in a rather larger park, but and then lo and behold, Manoah
Hat
might be
tip.
back.
Yeah, hat tip. Not familiar with Yo Game. If I could tell you, you could have Alek Manoah or Christopher Sanchez the rest of the season in the dinger. Which would you pick?
Christopher Sanchez.
Okay. What if I said you could have Bailey Ober or Alek Manoah rest of the year in the dinger? Who would you pick?
I think I would still say Bailey Ober.
Okay. All right. I respect it.
But Manoah is definitely it's definitely going to be drafted in the 7th inning stretch. I wonder, does he have an ADP yet? He 238, so he's still going super, super late in the 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, so if you're a believer in buying into the pitch mix stuff, go ahead and jump on that. That feels like a good ceiling shout. What if I told you JP Sears or Alek Manoah rest of the season?
Oh man, I can't just like get off the Sears brand.
Well, we were always Sears guys, and it comes with its peaks and valleys. I mean, he's our left-handed Dane Dunning, where we just fall in love with him for some reason.
He's fine. He's absolutely fine. I mean, we haven't had a quality start in the last 3 starts, but he's the definition of just fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chad bringing up like maybe just a little case of the yips there. The yips, no joke, man. The yips are no joke.
And I'm kind of like the armchair psychologist when it comes to just like random players. And Alek Manoah is another one of my my clients, and he seems like the type to kind of get in his own head. He definitely does not seem like a cool, level-headed pitcher that we have out here. He definitely seems like the type to be in his own head.
So emotional on the mound. They had him mic'd up during the All-Star game like 2 or 3 years ago when he had that really hot like beginning start. He's Liam Hendricks style, like F-bombs, woo, big sellies, like that sort of stuff. So I could definitely get on board with that shout. One other thing that I was gonna say, now this is not a fair comp because one of them's a Hall of Famer and whatever, is let's make this pick first. I am Bryce Harper 101 today. Nez, are you Shohei Ohtani 101 today?
It's hard to not take Shohei, but I am Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is very, very hot in Colorado. I mean, he might not. He might just walk like 5 times, but that counts for something. Maybe get a run mixed in there as well.
Yeah, the tiebreaker for me is being that Great American Small Park could actually play into a little bit of weather today, and Coors cannot. So there is a little bit of risk with the Dodgers stacks comparatively.
Okay.
What I was going to say, though, is people forget that the Blue Jays did this needed a mental health break, 10 years ago. Roy Halladay. Roy Halladay, before Roy Halladay was Roy Halladay.
Wow.
He went all the way back down to single A, built himself all the way back up, came back with a bit different pitch mix, and then was the future Hall of Famer that we know. Is it the Roy Halladay comp? Chipsy knows I'm playing the hits, baby. He knows I'm playing the hits. Just for you, buddy.
Oh, buddy. It's okay.
I will hit on Razor Ramon's been throwing some love to David Friday, like as in David Fry, and to Logan Allen. They're not on the main slate for us. They're on the second slate. on Underdog. So yes, I do agree with Cleveland being kind of fun for the second slate there. Give me a little Oakland stuff though. Give me a little Shea Langoliers and Brent Rooker mini stack.
Yeah, that's a good call. The A's. I mean, what's crazy is like I was about to fire up a hot take.
Do it.
I think our games for baseball DFS on Underdog are harder than Redacted.
I'm willing to hear you out.
It's just like there's just like really smart people, like the people you're going against here. Like I think you and I like have a general idea of how to play salary DFS, and like we know how to build smart teams over there. Some of the teams that win on Underdog are just like, how the fuck did you think to do this? Like, in what world are you doing what you do to get you to this lineup? And
right,
you just have to be so perfect sometimes. And I say this as somebody that does have a dub under my belt, but that dub was because I just drafted the players that I think are good at baseball. And I'm not like trying to literally like stare in the face of garbage and draft it.
Nez, what do you feel about Kyle Schwarber and Ronald Acuna?
Yeah, this is the type of teams I like to build.
All right, let's do it.
Teams with good hitters. Yeah, man, just some of the nights on these slates are just like it's crazy. It makes you like it just kills my brain. It really makes me want to rethink my entire process.
Okay, I'll say two things to it. One, I think you're wrong.
That's fine.
I think
I didn't say I believed it. It was a hot take. But.
I think what happens is the good players in quotations or the badged up experienced players on this site funnel themselves to similar sort of builds as the other players, right? Whereas, and then when we see the lineups that win that are all just like one-offs or all like crazy shit that it's like, how the hell did you get there? It makes us rethink our process. You know what I mean? That happens far less on Redacted because the tools are so sophisticated and the evolution of the game is like 5 years ahead of us, right? So they're kind of all the good chalk is funneled to in the same. There's like more logical game theory patterns. Whereas currently on Underdog, because the game is so new, those don't necessarily exist. They exist amongst a very small niche bubble that reside in our community. But outside of that, the general principles don't apply. And then the fact that these rosters are shorter and the player pool is more condensed versus on Redacted, it's more elongated and longer lineups. I think it highlights the better players more consistently on the other platform versus us right now because way more variance can happen in a smaller lineup.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's what I'm like struggling with is building the portfolio thing. And to be honest, like I haven't been like drafting like a ton either, so it's not like I'm like losing my shirt over here. But just seeing the lineups that win as I get ready to go all in after basketball season is over, I'm like, God damn, man! Like if I was drafting at volume, like I would be losing a lot. I'd be cooked. Yeah. I'd be absolutely cooked.
No, that's entirely fair.
Trying to figure out why I suck right now.
Nez, what do you say to doing Ozuna plus Albies with this lineup, or doing Albies plus George Kirby?
Ozuna for sure.
Okay, so you like Ozuna?
He crushes the Pirates. Yeah,
he kills the Pirates. And then, would you like to see if Albies comes back to us and get ahead at starting pitcher, and have like a fallback of like Olsen or Phillies, or would you rather punt pitcher right now for Albies hitting right-handed?
I would just take Albies, man.
Okay.
Pitching seems deep. Like if we did 10 drafts, we had this start, we could mix it up. But for here, just take right-handed Albies. These Bailey Falter has been like pitching well, dude. I mean, that's not a joke. He actually has been like pitching pretty well and limiting a lot of hard contact. But at the end of the day, it's the Braves against a lefty, and the Pirates bullpen is absolute dog shit. So there's so many outs for Atlanta.
Bailey Falter is like the kind of pitcher I like to target, especially when he's been going good, because of the fact. Well, I mean, obviously, like to target him when he's going bad, but I mean, like as like a contrarian standpoint to target, because like he pitching to contact. He's been hyper efficient. It's like the kind of thing that we can just exploit when people are scared of it, when they just look up and see zeros, right?
Yeah. I think it's like that's the smart move, is to not be afraid of Bailey Falter. But
yeah,
I'm loving the results. Loving the results. I think it's hilarious because I thought that this dude sucked, and I still don't think he's that good. But it's the results are so funny.
GA clowning my build here. The 3-2s are like the Tampa Bay doubles to John. I mean, I do funnel myself to the 3-2s, and it objectively might be bad, but you know what? Can't argue with the results right now, buddy. Back to back to back to back top fives all over the place for me in the baseball streets. So stuck on that, GA.
Listen, you disavowed 3-2. You said to me weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I don't know, man, I think I'm done with 3-2s. And now every time I check the leaderboards and you're on there, it's a 3-2 stack every single time. I'm like, this dude.
Don't be results oriented, baby. I'm just clicking buttons out here.
Unbelievable.
This is a classic baseball joke from Bindles. The dinger, I barely know her, but that's the classic Madison Bumgarner team name.
Yeah.
We see our guy Andrew here building out some Boston stuff. Really like the Boston stuff as not that contrarian.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Not that contrarian, but just a stack that I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, anytime Boston's in Fenway.
All right, Nez, we can go the Mackenzie Gore route. Seattle likes to strike out, but they're going to go with a primarily right-handed lineup there. We can go to the game environment that you liked with Christian Scott and Kyle Harrison. Who do you like, bud?
You really can't go wrong here, but Gore seems like he has a pretty high ceiling.
Okay. I mean, like, I love the strikeout potential of Gore. Obviously fares well, better against lefties. But yeah, I do really like the strikeout potential there. Razor Ramon joining up to become a member gives him access.
Go.
Thank you for joining up. Gives him access to the Sweet Badge in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. Gives him access to the members only streams that are 2 times a week right here, and then gives him that sweet little logo right beside his name when you're hanging out in the YouTube chat. Do us a favor, guys. If you want to see some of that premium behind the paywall content, consider joining up there for the small fee of 1 Battle Royale entry. It's actually cheaper than a Fastball Friday per month. There, we got 160 of us still hanging out before we jump in the football streets here. Do us a favor, hit that like, that subscribe, that notification. We bring you guys Underdog content every single day of the week in some capacity right here on the BadgeBros channel.
It's true. He's not lying.
It's true. Nez, we got to start flipping back and forth here on these BBMs because I am just shilling out all the equity in the world to you, my friend.
I know you are.
Should we do BBM or should we appease the people with the brand new Pomeranian, the $3 price point? Jump in there. What do you think?
Do a Pom.
We're doing a Pom. Whoever can beat me into the Pom, 50 max, 20K to first, 2 out of 12, 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10 to advance. Oh my God, that thing snap filled. Wow.
It's going to be all day. When do you think this thing will fill?
Boom. 101.
The Influencer 101.
I will ask you, Nez, about the 101, just like in a vacuum. Are we being too dismissive in the same capacity as we were last year that like CMC is just definitively the 101. Because we did this exercise last year, did we not? Where everyone was just like, Justin Jefferson, 101, no matter what. The whole community just agreed he is the number one pick, no matter what. Anytime you get the 101. And then turned out the guy you needed was CMC. Are we being too dismissive in the inverse this time?
I don't think so. I mean, it's okay. So hindsight's 2020. A lot of love for CeeDee Lamb, which like I think it totally makes sense, right? They didn't really add much in the pass catching department there for Dallas, but I still think it's Christian McCaffrey, man. Like when you look at running backs in the running back landscape, you can't like say it a good thing about a running back after like Breece Hall. Everybody's like all you hear in our bubble, in our content bubble is, oh yeah, like this running back's inefficient. This running back's going to lose his job. This running back sucks. This running back sucks. And then, maybe these guys aren't super ultra efficient or whatever, but like we're still making bets on, I guess, like volume at the running back position. All that to say is like Christian McCaffrey is just stupid efficient, stupid volume, really, really good team. And then after that, like he just makes your life so much easier because like your RB2, like it really doesn't matter because he's like an RB 1.5. And so you can just do whatever you want really after that.
All right. I'm not going to fight that. I mean, he is on the best team, or could be on the best team, could be in the best offense, could have the best role in all of football, and they play the Lions in week 17.
That all sounds pretty good to me.
Rams at home, at Miami, Detroit at home. Could you have rolled a better, more fun, point-scoring environment for CMC come fantasy playoffs?
It's hard to find a better playoff schedule than that, I will say. The Texans have a damn good one, but Niners is right up there.
Yeah. All right. I mean, Meatwad brings up an interesting point here. Why not get the volume players later? It's the cheapest it's ever been.
Because like McCaffrey's like one of the best fantasy running backs of all time. So
entirely fair.
On an incredibly good offense.
Yeah. Almost 30 years old. Does that scare you? Chipsy's saying he's undraftable. We know he's
almost 30. How old is almost 30? Is that like 27?
It could be. Knowing Chipsy, he's like he could be. I imagine. I would guess
he turns 28 in June.
Yeah. Okay. That's where I was at. All right. Hey, we got some friends in here. We got Tarkus in here. We got Cheeseball in here. We got Chris. Chris is always hanging out. Chris, say what up in the chat, man. Haven't seen you in the chat today, but I see you in all the drafts. Come on.
That's Corey.
Where's Corey at?
Cheeseball's Corey.
Yeah.
He's a Corey.
Yeah.
Call him Chris. Got to put some respect
on
the man's name.
No, Chris. Chris right here.
Oh, that Chris. Okay. Your mouse was over Cheeseball and you said Chris, so I was.
Oh yeah.
You had me confused.
I'd moved on from that.
I don't know that I'm gonna have a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs in best ball this season. Just like I've been lately getting a lot of back end draft picks, draft slot position, whatever. Not loving it. But finding it really hard to take Jahmyr Gibbs with one of those picks right now. And I love Jahmyr Gibbs, but just given the way wide receivers are just getting erased from the board by the time your 3-4 turn comes, I don't know that I can sacrifice a pick there on a running back that in the first 2 rounds there, tied with like Achane as far as like probably the lowest volume that will be seen to a running back in that range. So that sucks because Gibbs is super fun, but I don't think I can do a lot of Gibbs.
He's probably just more expensive Achane at this point, right?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay, we're on the clock here. We could do the Waddle stuff, the Dig stuff. Kyron's kind of always in this area. We could push up some of the tight ends. What do you like?
I think Diggs. I like
You like Diggs? Interesting. Okay.
get a wide receiver for sure.
Okay.
Diggs hasn't really been making it back here a whole lot in
Really?
drafts that I've seen.
Oh,
No,
I
he's been
complete
going
opposite
pretty.
experience where he pushes up over here. That's
Yeah,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, I'm not seeing him make it this far. Now this pick, I would probably say Neighbors or DJ Moore.
All right.
You can also make a
It's
pick.
it's funny. I always pick completely different guys than you when it comes to football. Baseball, basketball, you and I are kind of like in lockstep. For
Yeah,
football, you and I are completely different pages. I wouldn't touch Diggs there, and I would always kind of take Waddle for like the Week 16 correlation with CMC there. Yeah, I don't know. I probably would have taken. I probably would have taken Waddle and Kyron, to be honest.
yeah. I am a Jalen Waddle guy. I
Yeah.
have on record, on paper,
Uh-huh.
it's there. Have bets on Jalen Waddle. But Easy kind of bullied me whenever I showed him Jalen Waddle team, and he's like, "Why didn't you draft good players?" And I was like, "I have Jalen Waddle," and he seemed, just hearing a lot of fun on Jalen Waddle has me upset. So I went with Diggs, who I mean, he's in a good offense, nothing wrong with that, and then Neighbors, who it'll be interesting to see how much volume Neighbors gets because he's on paper like so much better than every other wide receiver in on this team, and potentially not particularly close.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
the potential to earn a shit ton of targets.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Um, I'm liking some of these starts on the other side of the board here, man. I like this Garrett Wilson, Drake London. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on that one. We see Ayuk go ahead of Debo here, which I know you're probably not a fan of. You'd like to see those two flipped, Nez. Devonta Smith pushing up there, up to 30 to Chris there. Chris was in the 101 of my pug draft yesterday, Nez. And I did something crazy, gal brainy from the 102 because I knew the pug was a time box contest. I knew it was going to close before the day was out. I went for a 1 of 1 lineup. CeeDee Lamb from the 102, Devonta Smith at pick 23. I passed on Devontae Adams. And at the 26, I took Jalen Hurts. And I went full week 17 correlation stack, pushed up with the CeeDee Lamb. What do you think about that move?
That's fun. I mean, I'm pushing up Devonta Smith in a lot of my drafts as well right now.
Okay. Do you think it's too far to push it up to that corner there?
I wouldn't do it consistently, but I like doing it in the pug where like you're probably the only one to do that.
Yeah. That was kind of like the claim I made was if you did this in BBM right now, it's probably bad because you will have the opportunity to do that in BBM in August. So just do it in August instead of that. But in a time box contest like this, would it surprise anyone if Devonta Smith outscored Jalen Waddle, Malik Neighbors, Stephon Diggs, Devonta Adams? It shouldn't surprise anyone. And if that happens, Jalen Hurts is probably going to be QB1, is he not?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's got a chance for it. He's the first QB off the board here. It wouldn't that would not shock anybody.
Yeah. This is the duality of man coming to life in our chat right now. Chip says, "No disrespect, that's the most casual take I've ever read." Oh, I guess he's not talking to me. He's
in the chat.
Oh,
he's
he's
going to war.
he's going to war in the chat. I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just like slightly not adhering to ADP at the 1-2 turn and still taking like we barely deviated from ADP. Just, I mean, content is too easy when you're drafting NFL best ball, man. Like we did not do anything hot at all. Like we didn't reach for Metcalf or anything. We just took 2 wide receivers that happened to be around the top of the board, and and then the debates fly. I love it so much.
Me too. But the one I wanted to bring up here is Brad saw someone do it in the big dog. So that's my burner account in the big dog there. And I was doing that one. I think it's sharp, man. I think it's something that people are going to start doing now that we have the schedule in the future here, because I don't think it's out of line to think that Jalen Hurts is QB1 and that Devonta Smith should push up closer to where he was going last year.
Especially team get your guys, man. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Team get your guys. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring here for Mark Andrews. That would be my pick. Amari Cooper's there. We could do the CJ Stroud stack with Diggs and make that kind of like a week 17 correlation there. What do you think?
I think Andrews first.
Okay.
Stroud. See, I love Stroud. Like I would be totally fine taking Stroud here. I don't really have an argument against CJ Stroud. I mean, just as a rookie, just absolutely wowed us. Was throwing to Tank Dell and Nico Collins, and then like made like Noah Brown like a factor in weeks. So I'm Stroud here, man, and I love what the Texans have done here with adding Diggs, and I think Diggs, the season with the Bills is, you can look at that lack of production there for most of the season and be scared. I don't know how you stop the Texans offense.
Cool. I like it. Another thing we could have done that would have been a little more contrarian that I was thinking through there is because Stroud and Diggs coupled with this Mark Andrews thing is going to become very chalky on this side of the board. I guess it's better in quotations when Lamar falls, and you can get that pairing with it. The other one that you can do when you do neighbors on this side of the board is you could take Richardson, and that gives you a little bit of week 17 with Colts and Giants as well. So full correlation, bro, was in play on that side of the board. I like the Stroud pick, though.
Yeah. Who was I? There's so much like good discussion going on. I think it was Herzig like that was saying that projection-wise, Stroud and Dak are very similar QBs, and that Stroud gets pushed up because he's somebody that you're I don't even know what the word is when you're stacking somebody at, it's not a back stack, right? Like you're doing. So obviously all his pass catchers go ahead of him. So it becomes like a fight to get Stroud first, which is why he probably does go as high as he does. But, in my opinion, he's very good and he has really good pass catcher. So I just think he's going to have a better season than Dak. But I do think that that's like an interesting, thing. It's like, who is potentially being overdrafted because we are just like in a race to stack them up, and definitely is a good conversation. But
yeah, because he very rarely falls back to the other side of the board with the Tank Dell drafter anymore, because the Diggs or the Nico drafter snipes him every time, kind of deal.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. You gotta like hope that you're got a drafter that's just like pushing QB. For sure. But I'm coming around on Tank quite a bit. It looks like he went ahead of Zay Flowers there. That I don't. I in my head I have them like tied.
Okay.
Like that's a tough decision for me. But I think if I was to, I think you could make a better argument for Zay Flowers than Tank Dell. But there's good arguments for both sides in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. I think one of those arguments you could make is that which of those quarterbacks is easier to stack them with, and it's probably Lamar, because you can get Lamar in like the fourth or in that corner there, whereas the Stroud one doesn't fall back, as we alluded to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mixon is the new Tony Redacted. Oh no. Mixon is the old Tony Redacted, where we just kept aping in on those expected fantasy points over and over and over.
You just threw my head into Mixon is the old Tony Redacted, when Tony Redacted actually was the new Mixon when Mixon was Mixon.
Exactly, Nez. Exactly. And you know what Mixon did that year? Do you know what people forget? You know what Joe Mixon did for me that year? I came second because I've never won the Battle Royale. I came second in the Battle Royale with that 5 touchdown Mixon game, and I won the DeBomb in the same week
Jeez.
because I kept going back to the well over and over and over. Joe Mixon, the expected fantasy points, 5 touchdown game finally came. That Tony Redacted one never came for me last year. LOL variance. We move on with the thesis.
2022 John was a problem, let me tell you.
He was a problem, and now he just has problems. Joe Mixon goes at 57 there. George Kittle on the way back there for our guy Trackus. Yeah, what are you thinking here with our team, Nez? We got that anchor CMC. I think we're kind of looking double wide receiver in if they make it back to us, because there's that kind of like last pocket of wide receiver according to ADP, and then it kind of just the whole board all of a sudden turns green. So I would be thinking about getting 2 wide receivers with these next 2 picks. Where does your mind go?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this like we CMC has us covered for at least another 3.5 rounds. We got Stroud, we've got Andrews here. Definitely got to load up on wide receiver, considering we have a rookie and as our wide receiver 2 there with definitely a wide range of outcomes.
I like it. Eli Mitchell bringing us back down to earth here with the Zay over tank pretty easily for him. Pollard like surgery, which we saw what happened to Pollard last year. Zapped some of that getaway speed, and then obviously the got shot narrative, and then they added veterans to receive carries and targets. It's entirely fair, logical discourse right there.
Yeah, it's hard not to just like cling to the rookie tape, but those are all very fair and valid points that we should be considering.
Yeah, and like clinging to the rookie tape, well, just look what Zay Flowers did in the postseason last year, right? Like he had that huge explosion game that was necessary to move on in the playoff contest and to win the daily streets there, which won't be included in, when we're just galbraining his box scores. We got Roma Doomsday here for us. Chicago, no real correlation for us there. Brian Thomas, double rookies. Leg Up is telling us to take those guys. Who do you like, though, Nez?
I do like Rashee Rice for one of these picks.
Interesting.
And a $3 Pom. Like, come on, man. It's so funny to me. Like, in my first Pomeranian, he fell 10 picks past ADP. Like, who is registering for a $3 Pomeranian? Is like, I can't take the risk of Patrick Mahomes, wide receiver 1 at pick 90. Like, I got to go somewhere else. That just cracks me up. Now, Rome or Brian Thomas, I think this is Rome. I like Brian Thomas, and I think he has probably a better situation, but Rome is the better prospect, I think, objectively. So I think this would be Rome here, but I'm really into Brian Thomas.
Okay, let's do Rome. Good UW boy there. We have fellow UW boy correlation on the cover with Jaden McDaniels there. So that's the spin zone we're going with, Nez. I don't know. My Rome take's getting tired here, but like I keep coming back to like people treating him as like a contingent wide receiver when he could just be like the next greatest wide receiver in the league.
Very well could be, man. I mean, yeah, I'm not worried about Rome. Like this, I don't know what to liken this to, just because it's a very unique situation where like the Bear, like we rarely have seen, and at least in my drafting lifetime, a team just go all in like Chicago has. But I think what it does sort of remind me of is like different situations, just bear with me here. It's like rookie season Jalen Waddle. Rookie season Jalen Waddle was really cheap in drafts. I had like 25% Jalen Waddle that season. And I think Rome is more expensive than Waddle was back then. Maybe I'm wrong. And I mean, and I liken that just because we have, 2 really good wide receiver prospects that, went early in drafts, but like, now we are getting Rome in the 6-7 turn here. Feels good.
Yeah. I mean, if we think that offense is going to be as improved as we think it's going to be on paper, I mean, the draft capital is similar. Like Jalen Waddle was what 6th or 7th overall there to Miami, and then they tethered him to Tua right away. I think like draft capital, but I think prospect pedigree, people would say Rome's better than Waddle, right? Like
I
just
think
in general.
that's debatable personally.
Okay.
Maybe I was just like really like Waddle pilled, but I thought Waddle was like excellent coming out of school. Just like
Okay.
and maybe other people might say that he was like because Chase was hurt. I think I'm not crazy, right? Like they were in the same. No, Chase was at LSU, and he sat, but maybe JMO ended up getting hurt, and that's what it was. But anyways, yeah, I thought Waddle was excellent coming out of school. Just really good route runner, super fast.
Yeah.
That was like what I was just clinging to.
Yeah, the speed thing was always there. It was the size thing because he was only like 5'9" or whatever, 5'10".
Yeah.
Glad we got ahead on the 2 wide receivers there, even if one is going to go to jail and not play half of the year on our team. At least we got 2 of the yellow guys on our team there, because this is what's happening, as we alluded to, both in terms of rankings and ADP, that this next pocket in the draft is just all green. So this happens over and over again once you hit about, especially on the stream drafts, but once you hit about this like 7th or 8th round, I think it's becoming more and more apparent that you want to have 4 wide receivers on your team prior to round 7. And it becomes hard to do when we spent effectively 2 quote unquote luxury picks on a tight end and a quarterback early like that. So I'm glad we did what we did, but it still feels weird that we're like behind at wide receiver, right?
I think we're doing okay at wide receiver. Like we are we are behind because we have the Rice pick, but we're not lacking upside. It's just we got to realize that upside, and we're gonna have to do more wide receiver drafting. We're gonna have to do a little bit more pissing because we got to make up for that early season production that we might not get. Waddle rookie season. I'm looking at one of my drafts. He didn't really rise much. Yes, I went all the way back to BBM2. ADP of 90 that
for
season.
Jalen Waddle in BBM2.
Yeah, in his rookie season.
When was that draft? Was it like early?
Oh, I don't
late?
know when I drafted it.
Got it. Okay.
I only did 20 BBM2s back then because that was and that was a lot. That was a lot for me. I went nuts on the puppy back then, but yeah, this team started off with Diggs at pick 11 to Mixon to 3-4 turn CD Lamb. Bring me back to those days.
Wow. 2-3 turns.
3-4 turn.
3-4 turn. Wow.
CD Lamb. Yeah. This team made the playoffs.
No doubt, man. Wow, that's it. Okay, let's think about this pick there, and then I just want to hear this roster so we could talk about BBM2 versus BBM5. And like you're gonna have some players on that team not in the league anymore. You're gonna have some players that were like 5th, 6th round.
You're gonna love some of these names, dude. You're gonna love some of these names.
Well, I was listening to Ship Chasing yesterday though, and Gretsch brought me back with a Chris Ivory shout. That was like, oh man, we're so back. Give me some Jordan Cameron and Chris Ivory carrying my teams in the fantasy playoffs.
Did you talk about Sean Payton?
All right, Des, here we go. We got to make some decisions here. Mike Williams, Cortland Sutton as highest wide receivers on the board. Tony Redacted is there. We can make a Miami bet with Raheem Mostert.
Who do you like? I want you to tell me someone.
Let's take Mostert. I like the week 16 correlation. I don't do a ton of Mostert. I think he's getting disrespected when he scored 21 touchdowns, franchise record in running back in touchdowns in general. By skill position player last year. And then
I think we should
Sutton.
Yeah, so like Sutton I hate, but like he's a professional wide receiver. Shaheed is a good best ball pick. I was hoping we would get Lockett here, but it looks like somebody went and snagged him. So I guess Sutton. I think it should be a wide receiver.
It gives us backdoor outs at some stacks. It gives us backdoor Bo Nix out if we just want to go like the 3 quarterback route and do 2 like punt quarterbacks. Like we could do Daniel Jones and Bo Nix with our last 2 picks on this team. We could have stacked Caleb with Rome there as well, but it feels bad to take 2 quarterbacks when you take CJ Stroud this early.
Yeah, no, I don't think a quarterback would have been a good move there at all.
Okay. Yeah, I don't take a ton of Mostert, but feels okay. All right, Nick. All right, Nick. I'm reading the chat here. All right. All right, Nez. Let's go with the BBM2 team from
Yes.
mystery date that you drafted that made the playoffs. Let's hear it.
All right. So this went Diggs to Mixon to CD Lamb, and I'm picking from pick 11 here.
Okay, can you bring up the team view of it?
Yeah, do you want to see it? I can share the screen.
Yeah, like bring up the team view of it, and like I want to know what the build type was. I want to know everything here.
Yeah, you just want me to share my screen?
Yeah.
All right. Where'd it go? Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Will Fuller, Robbie Anderson, Mike Davis. Like there's gonna be some fun stuff on this. All right, here we go, Nez. This one advanced. What did we do here?
Dak Prescott, Derek Carr as my 2 QBs here. Dak Prescott was like going at ADP 66. I took my pick 59 to stack here. Jesus. Joe Mixon, Miles Sanders, the famous 0 touchdown season from Miles Sanders here, pick 38.
Oh my.
Nice James Conner value. James Conner just like it's a law that he has to go at pick 100, I guess. This one is what I really wanted to show you, that Devin Singletary, old habits die hard.
That's at the same takes for 5 years here. Devin Singletary and Elijah Mitchell to close it out, baby. 5 running back build.
You know what's crazy? I only did 19 BBM drafts, and I had like 5 Elijah Mitchell shares, and he was like 20% drafted in the entire contest. So like just dumb sharp there. Just a great rookie season from Elijah Mitchell.
Stephon Diggs, old habits die hard.
Yeah, dude, look at this. Lamb, OBJ, Waddle, Darnell Mooney.
Waddle.
Still love Mooney. I was Rondale Moore pilled like an MFer. Smokey Brown.
Hat tip to ship tasting for the Rondale Moore. People forget that Rondale Moore was Laviska Shenault before Laviska Shenault was Laviska Shenault.
This was an auto draft, I think.
No, don't you dare. Don't you
dare.
Look
at that. Look at that disparity.
You wanted Smokey Brown, baby.
I did, but I did not want him there. That's for sure. And then Goddard and Ingram. So Van Jefferson, shout out Van Jefferson. Great season from him there. 2nd year receiver. Nobody wanted him, but yeah, how about it?
Honestly, this team. So you take out Odell, you move Miles Sanders down, and you take one more running back. This team might play in this year. I was expecting it to be like Grosser. No,
man, I was dialed. I was consuming content every day from work here. Okay, so
give us one of the dust ones. No. Go way down. Give me like 11th, 12th place. Give me something like that.
Okay. Here's 12th place. It might be because of injuries, but here it's 12th place regardless. Oh, a Tanny T-Law team. Here we go. Shout out Trevor Lawrence, one of the biggest busts of all time. Unbelievable.
Dude, I was all in on him that year too. Where it was
Love DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
Where did I take pick 127 for Tannehill? Holy crap. Swift, Kareem Hunt, Ronald Jones. I had so much Rojo.
Daily Rojo, baby.
Tony Jones Jr., Justin Jackson was my generation's Isaiah Spiller. It's hard to get 12th place when you have Tyreek Hill on your team. Whenever Tyreek Hill went absolutely nuts this season,
240 points, still 12th place, baby.
Oh, I think did AJ Brown? No, AJ Brown did he get hurt or just have a terrible season this year? With Tennessee, Amari Cooper, OBJ, Will Fuller. This is a good one.
Will Fuller, DJ Chark, yes.
Sterling Shepard, MBS.
Better in best ball.
Like, I can't believe this team finished 12th. This actually didn't have a lot of injuries. It was just a really bad team. Well, the running back room was terrible. So
this is the epitome of this is the bull case for don't take zeros at running back.
Yeah,
That's what
this is where it all started, man.
Yeah. All right, I gotta jump back here because
Yeah, we're about to
the chat guarantees I was gonna miss these picks just like yesterday, but not gonna happen. Not on my watch, Nez. Caleb might come all the way back to us, and that feels way more palatable here because this guy's not gonna take a third quarterback. I would throw my hat in the ring for a Caleb Rome stack, and
Okay.
then I would throw my hat in the ring for either our boy Tajay Spears or Brian Robinson, I think.
Yeah, I love Tajay Spears. I think Brian Robinson is probably, I mean, I guess on this team, like I think Tajay Spears has more of a ceiling, but Brian Robinson is probably going to hit our lineup more often. So you want to do Caleb with the ADP value here?
I think so. I mean, he falls back to a Rome stack to us. We could do like a cheeky Noah Fant bring back or something in the last round. We could still add Cole Kmet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, these wide receivers are not awesome, so I can totally understand if you want to do Spears here, or push
We could
up
do
like
Wicks.
Yeah.
Wicks, Brian Robinson, or Spears. Let's do Brian Robinson.
Okay. We might be able to survive that.
I think so. We're done at quarterback now. We got a nice ADP value on that mini stack. I think it feels like an 8 receiver team for sure. Even though we spent 2 up there because of the Rice pick. Yeah. It only going to be a 2 tight end team, I think, because of the Mark Andrews. Would feel good to use Fant as like a run back there, get some correlation.
I think the most important piece on this team is like Rome hitting, for sure. Because we need him to carry. We need him to do a lot of early leg work for us.
Because we just doubled down on our Rome bet with that pick.
Right. Yeah, we're now Caleb has a chance. You know, we're ping ponging Caleb and Stroud in our lineups there.
Yeah. This is interesting. Is Caleb falling because of one practice report?
What was even the practice report?
I don't know. GA's got to fill us in. I did not see it. Was that a coach speak index report? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would love to know.
Yeah. Wow, Neil with some meta here. Don't think Lawrence is too far from Stroud in terms of fantasy output.
Huh.
Very interesting. I mean, ETR is really high on the Jacksonville stuff. Yeah. I mean, I
would call that a hot take. Like, it's respectable because Lawrence is a really good prospect. And I do think that his team around him is like pretty decent. Stroud just like doing what Lawrence's best season last year. It's just like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Damn near.
Yeah.
I'm Stroud pilled. That's what it comes down
to. Devin saying that we could arguably make this a 2-4-10-2. Interesting. Traditionally speaking, 10 wide receivers hasn't played great. Usually stopping at like that 8-9 threshold has played better from a roster construction standpoint, according to some of Hayden's data and some of the other research that has been done. But just Shroud, CMC, Andrews carrying this team at the onesies. Yeah, I can't argue with that one. It sounds like the report, Nez, was all the beats were saying he was awful. He was bad in shorts. Coach is unhappy that Caleb showed up with painted tails for OTAs. That was the report.
That's what it is.
Pitch. That's a good one. Multiple practice interceptions report. But I think Chip has hit on the number one reason here is just the fact that Daniels should be going ahead of him. So Jaden Daniels and him flipping ADP spots, both in terms of playoff schedule stuff, in terms of week 17 correlation stuff, and in terms of running ceiling output. What do you think on Caleb versus Jaden Daniels?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I think if I was to get straight up Daniels versus Caleb in fantasy output, I'd probably take Jaden Daniels.
Yep, I agree. I would too. So their ADP should be flipped.
Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels, I don't know how much he's going to rise, but I would label him an obvious riser. I just don't know exactly how much. I think maybe, I know I'm not alone in that. A lot of people think that he will. It's just a matter of how much does he actually rise, and like, who does he leapfrog in order to rise? And I think when you look at our board here, I don't think it's hard for him to rise at least a whole round, because like you're taking him over a bunch of running backs, and people love a reason not to take a running back. So that seems like a pretty easy way to jump up. Passing Kyler would probably be tough.
Yeah,
And Jordan Love, I think people really respect those guys as QBs, and knowing that Jaden Daniels is on the Commanders might be kind of tough for people to get past. So those are some points of resistance for sure.
Yeah, Andrew's saying Daniel's a great bet, but people are still underrating Caleb so much. That's entirely fair, man. I mean, new OC, all the talent brought in around him. Yeah, I could see it both ways, but I think I'm on the Daniel side of history on that one. I like the rushing potential and the Atlanta Week 17.
Yeah, I have no gauge on what Daniels will be like as a passer, because the only thing that I know about him is that he just runs with like reckless abandon. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that pick there sucked. That hurts. I was looking for that Schultz double stack there, and then we could close the book on tight end, but not the end of the world. We could find ourselves to single stack Shroud is fine. I prefer the way he, someone alluded to it in the chat a second ago that like they're going to spread that ball around, and I do agree with that notion. So I was kind of like in my mind, it's nice to have two pass catchers when we do that. Nez, what do you like here?
I think I like another rookie in Ricky Pearsall.
Okay, we've already made a little bit of a San Francisco bet there. We can double down on that with the Ricky Pearsall stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
And then after this, I do think wide receiver. What do you think? Or I mean, I don't know if you see.
I was gonna say Sharps as the run back off of we made the Caleb plus Rome bet.
Good call. Let's do that.
The week 17 there.
Yeah.
Bye week doesn't overlap with any other running back. Feels okay. We're kind of ADP and rank slappy there, but he did fall 10 picks. So
yeah, and now we can continue to just go yellow, and you could stop this at 4, but I think 5 would probably make more sense. Hopefully we have a 5th running back that feels worthy of being drafted once we come back up on the clock, because running back just gets bad in a hurry. That's what's like interesting, is running back is pushed down, but once you hit a certain threshold, they become like almost undraftable for me. So it's like that window in the middle of the board where I really want to get my running backs in, because after that, it's just like straight contingency value.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about it. I don't know if we talked about it the other day or if I talked about it when I did the solo double draft yesterday, but it was something to the effect of like, we're searching for clear-cut backfields, projectable volume, or we're searching for contingent upside. And the stopgap for contingent upside disappears because we don't know who's second or third on the depth chart at a given point, right? And that's why it feels so gross to click. So it is the I know ball guys with who have their like takes of like taking like Rasheen Ali in the last round, or taking what's the kid's name from Denver? Blake Watson. The ball knowers are telling me that he might be in the rotation for some Denver stuff. That's when that stuff gets more clarity for like the general consensus drafter. That's when we'll feel better about our 16, 17, 18th round running back clicks. But right now, it just feels like throwing darts because we don't have that clarity.
Yeah, it's definitely like a time of year problem, for sure. Where that clarity just really doesn't exist. There are some drum beats for some running backs that like I am interested in, especially in a time box contest like this.
All right, let me hear him.
Spags was I saw Spags talking about this on Twitter. He's like pounding the drum for Eric Gray thinking that Eric Gray is
Okay.
the actual RB2 in New York, and the Tyrone Tracy scheme isn't good.
Okay.
One of the things that he alluded to that I didn't know, and that I trust is actually an important note, that they were like so desperate to get him, like keep him active on game days, that they had him like returning kicks. And that wasn't like, oh, we have to find use for this guy. It's like they just wanted to have him active just in case, was like my read based on like him mentioning that. So Spags is dialed. I always, anytime Spags speaks, I listen. So I thought that was really interesting because Eric Gray is not getting drafted very much right now. And in a time box contest, like you kind of have to find a way, like you don't have to, but I would like to find a way to get a guy that will be very, very, very low owned. And he's one of them that actually seems like has some real contingency value.
Yeah, the thing I'd push back on from last year was just the fact that they used Matt Breida, Brightwell, and they signed Deion Jackson late in the season and used them all over Gray. So if they liked him that much, when Saquon went down last year, wouldn't you think they would just be like, hey, have at it, kid? Instead of like being like, nah, the corpse of Matt Breida is going to get 9 touches, 10 touches a game. You remember playing those showdown slates where we were drafting like Matt Breida on like the double slates, the double prime times?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was awful. That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, right or wrong, it's just that's the only like pushback narrative I could like think of off the top of my head. But yeah, no, a lot of people liked Eric Gray, like Tennessee guy.
Yeah, it's tough sledding out here right now.
Yeah, I mean, like just to find like narratives to like other guys. Nez, I got a player in mind. The ship chasing guys, Gretchen in particular, doesn't particularly agree with me. I saw a little back and forth that Hayden had on Twitter with what's the Denver beat guy that put Jaleel McLaughlin at the bottom of their depth chart. Didn't even mention Samaje P. Ryan. But for me right now, I'm taking Jaleel. He kind of doubles down on our Cortland Sutton bet here and gives us. We're probably not going to do the Bo Nix third quarterback now that we did the Caleb thing. I shouldn't have said his name. All right, he goes right in front of us there. So we're not going to take him. What do you like instead here? We could do the Marvin Mims in the same vein on doubling down on the Denver stuff. We could complete our running back room with one of these 3 rookies as a dart throw. Who do you like?
Do you want to do Noah Fant for a run back?
Okay.
We need a tight end.
I'm good with that. Yeah, I'm good with that. Absolutely. Like that pick. And then who do you want your last one to be?
Yeah, I've been like trying to think about Marvin Mims and like, is he actually like a good pick? And like showed upside, runway a little bit more cleared. I guess Marvin Mims. We have the Denver bet.
Okay. So you want to gamble our 5th wide or 5th running back to not be one of these rookie ones?
I guess so.
All right. Sounds good.
I don't know. I mean,
let's do it.
We have like, we think that Mostert will be in every, like, we don't need a lot for Mostert to give us production from the RB2 position. Like, what we need is for him to stay healthy. Brian Robinson, every down player, RB1. So if those guys stay healthy, like we are like okay at running back. I think we can afford to do what we just did.
All right. I'm here for it. We drafted like we're right.
We are. CMC,
man,
baby.
Are we? This is deep dive with the Vacky love. Like, are we going so far deep on the Lions depth chart that we're going like 3rd string Lion here from Utah? I don't know.
I don't even know what position he plays.
He's a running back. Entirely fair. My guy Chipsy keeps mentioning one player that I want him to like stop mentioning so we can like take him as our 5th running back now that we passed on that tier. But Evan Hall seems like a guy who has a clear-cut, RB2 run right now.
I like Evan Hall. I had a lot of Evan Hall last year. He could have been our Zach Moss, but
he could have been our Zach Moss. Yeah, absolutely. And I think they think he could be their Zach Moss this year. I will remind people that they did use Trey Sermon last year, but I believe at that point Evan Hall was already hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt really, really early. I think it was like I think he made it to the first game of the regular season, and then that's when he got hurt, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one because he wasn't there. That's why Zach Moss. That's why Trey Sermon got so much run from kind of like week 2 or 3, 4-ish onward.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they clearly like him because they let Deion Jackson go. Like, obviously, they weren't going to pay Zach Moss. That somebody else step in and pay them. That like running back room is pretty thin behind Jonathan Taylor. I think they still just have Tyler Goodson and Trey Sermon. Yeah, that's how thin it is, dude.
I couldn't tell you if Tyler Goodson was real or not. Could have just been a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, well, I remember because he was there last year, caught a couple passes. He had like one game where he did something. I think he had like 10 carries or something in one game. That's all I remember.
Good for him.
Yeah, Nez ain't ready to scroll the F down, guys. He ain't ready.
Not with you, man. Not with you, that's for sure.
Chipsy saying I drafted Goodson in BBM3. That's incredible.
There's no way.
That was a fun exercise bringing up that BBM2 teams. Do you have any BBM like 1 or 3? I mean, I'd do it, but it's kind of hard for me to do it when we have this one up right now.
Any well sorry, I was
like BBM1 or anything like that?
I did let's see here. I wasn't in BBM1, but I was in what they called like the bubble, I think.
Oh yeah, the OG.
Mm-hmm.
The OG puppy.
And I was in the Mitten Part 2 in 2020. I advanced.
Many people forget that Nez is the Mitten returns again, returns for a 7th time, 2-week sprint playoff contest champion, and has the ring to prove it. Do you not, Nez?
I do. I don't know where the ring is, but in this, I had in 2020, man. I forget who this. Oh, this was when the Steelers lost, I think, to the Jags.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And I have a Pittsburgh team. I'm staring right at it. Roethlisberger, Connor, Claypool, Juju, man. Let's
Juju.
See, I did a lot of cash games because I was like, I was doing draft. Once I came over here, I was just like, I was just doing cash games over there.
Mm-hmm.
I did do Best Ball Mania.
Take a look in a second here. Let's think about who we are going to pick with this next one here. Are we going to add a third quarterback to a Shroud Caleb Williams team? Wow, Caleb Williams, 22 picks after ADP. Kind of fun because if we're going to add one, I would venture to guess it would be Bo Nix with the double stack Denver, though it also could be Danny Dimes with Neighbors. And if we added, Tracy goes there, so that one doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think a quarterback would be good.
Okay.
We have such a strong bet there with both quarterbacks that you just gotta assume it hits. We do have a lot of options here. So Devontae Walker is getting a lot of steam, and I'm honestly kind of into him right now.
It gives us another bring back off of the early Shrout plus Diggs bet as well.
Exactly.
So I can get on board with that. I would float the notion of like Noah Brown too to people that are like who missed on the Dalton Schultz backstack and stuff. I mean, we saw him ball out last year as a 18th round dart Noah Brown stack. I'm not saying for this team now, but should we take the Evan Hall?
I was gonna say Deontay Foreman, but let's go Hall. Let's just scroll, man.
Let's ADP doesn't matter, man. Here.
Might as well not have a number.
Artificial construct made up by people no smarter than you. Let's go. Evan Hall is
low bar to clear. That's a high bar to clear, actually.
Evan Hall also gives us another little run back off of the Giants stuff for week 17 as well there. That's why I was kind of in my mind leaving the light on for that one. Hat tip to our guy Chip C in the chat there.
Wow.
Nez, that's a 2.582 thus far. I think I would make the case if Bo Nix comes back that Bo Nix is the best pick for this team with the last pick of this draft if he comes back. That being said, I will entertain multiple things from you. 2.5.
I'm gonna entertain you.
Okay. CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams, CMC, Mostert, Robertson Jr., Charbonnet, Evan Hall, Diggs, Neighbors, Rice, Odunsday, Sutton, Purcell, Marvin Mims Jr., Walker, Andrews, Fant.
You're about like 50. You're batting like 500 there on getting last names right.
I won 100% the other day, so the net averages had to like roll out there. I thought I did okay, didn't I?
Purcell? Who the hell is that?
Pearsall.
There you go.
There, nailed it. This is awesome. Nick, Jesus, I went and lived a whole lifetime and come back, and y'all are still streaming.
We are. In fact, we are.
Great.
I'm looking at BBM1, man. I had one entry in it, and it overlaid. They only filled 78% of BBM1.
Okay.
Look at this.
43,000 entrants.
12-person draft, 16 weeks, one champion.
One champion. Justin Herzig, baby.
This is before they expanded the season. This is how long we've been playing best ball. Dude, just barely missed qualifying here. I want to pull up the draft board just because I want to see how in what order I drafted, and then we'll look at
John Stroud Bronson. He should drive me insane. I'm gonna just keep saying it, man. CJ Stroud.
Look at this start, man. Travis Kelce, Josh Jacobs start from the 12 hole. No wonder I didn't advance. I'm trying to think. This might have been Zeke's second season. It must have been. Yeah, he was not. I don't think he's going that early rookie season. Thielen, my wide receiver 1, with Robert Woods as my wide receiver 2. Ronald Jones, pick 60. We're back. Josh Allen. Look at the Darian Slayton, pick 85. Who am I? Look, Keenan Allen, pick 61. Absolute steal.
So much green.
Neil saying
it's hilarious to see that few wide receivers in the first 2 rounds. Look at all the green.
This is insane. Like if you God,
Michael Thomas, WR1 at pick 8, and there was only 7 wide receivers that went in the first 2 rounds, and Kenny Golladay was one of them.
Just insane, man. Just nuts. Wow. Who's my last? A little MBS Evergreen. Little Drew Lock, Auden Tate, OG Auden Tate believer.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a hilarious team. DeAndre Washington.
Sanu, DD Westbrook in there. James Washington in there. N'Keal Harry, pour one out. Dude, John Ross making a comeback in round 16. John Ross is going to go in round 16 by the end of draft season in BBM 5.
Yeah, he's an Eagle.
He's an Eagle, baby.
Intriguing signing.
Yeah.
Alshon
Jeffrey.
Oh man, imagine getting Devontae Freeman. I think this was that. No, that wasn't the year. Oh no, he's a Giant here. Obviously, this was not the. Yeah, Justin Jefferson.
165 after Laviska Shenault.
That's crazy, man.
That's wild. That is so cool.
3rd place team, though. I mean, we almost cracked it somehow.
Nez, I have 2 picks for you with the very last pick of this BBM5 draft. I will give you Khalif Raymond as a run back off of CMC for week 17, or I will give you Bo Nix to complete the double stack for our Denver bet.
It's going to have to be Khalif Raymond.
Khalif Raymond it is. All right, let's do it. Khalif Raymond. Okay, we'll come back to that BBM1 board. 1 second. Let me tie the bow on this one. That is, give it a refresh here. Oh, it wasn't BBM. Right. It was the Pom. That's why it's not there. This is the Pom. A 2592 is in the books here. Our first Pom of the $3 variety. It's crazy to think the Pom prize pool comparative, like just the growth of the site. We got 74,000 people in a time boxed Pom draft, and BBM1 was 43,000 people and overlaid. Crazy to think how far we've come. And we are still so effing early. Nez, this is a 2592. I already read it. I already butchered every single name. The thing that we added to it was Khalif Raymond at the very end of that. Rate this team for me, my friend.
Oh, this is an 8 out of 10. This is a nice 8 out of 10. Not quite a 9, but 8 out of 10. Crushed, when you get 101, easy peasy, CMC, crush running back, crush QB, crush tight end when you get Mark Andrews. And then I like what we did at wide receiver. I mean, it's a lot of upside. We just got to hope that we can get enough points here to get through to the playoffs. But it's upside galore here at wide receiver with all these rookies.
Yeah, 5 rookies and then potential, late breakout Marvin Mims. Khalif Raymond has a cheeky little run back with some speed. Jacob asking why not DPJ at the end. That's a fair point. Like, why are we so Khalif Raymond over DPJ pilled there after they made the trade for him last year?
I mean, I just think Khalif Raymond has a better track record, right? I mean, Khalif Raymond, when he's actually like playing and running routes, actually has a decent run, yards per route run. Heard that on ADP chasing, and I don't think you can say the same. Like DPJ was traded for and didn't do anything. Raymond's been there for a minute.
All right, I respect it. What do we got here? Sean Mitchell saying that he was 43rd place in BBM1. Wow. Max Payne there. Nez, where'd the BBM1 go? I wanted to finish that board.
Oh, yeah, let me pull it back up. 43rd would have gotten him 2K. So that's a nice little bankroll builder for you there, Mitch.
There you go.
Let's go results. Here we go. I actually made, because there was so much overlay, I made the quarterfinals as a wild card. And look, freaking Drew Lock cracked my lineup over Josh Allen on this team. Not a bad little score in the quarterfinals. Didn't advance, but
let's see the team that did advance out of that pod there. Let's see who the good players were in week 15 of BBM1. Tua slapped. Okay.
I think if I do this, we can actually see his box score. Yeah, against Kansas City, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt, David Montgomery, of course. Yeah. That was the year. I think David Montgomery came alive like really late this year, if I remember correctly. And
that was the year of the meme. The year of the meme. Vision like Saquon, feet like Le'Veon Bell. Like
and I remember because like Houston was garbage this year, and he had an immaculate playoff schedule. So in all my home leagues, I was trading for David Montgomery, and he had a really slow season. Josh Jacobs, classic Josh Jacobs, like crushing the regular season and doing jack shit in the playoffs. Keyshawn Vaughn, still around. And then he had the Tyreek stack, Calvin Ridley, pre-parlays, 22 points.
Parlay Ridley was so different. He hit hard.
Look, he's got two rookies here. I mean, nice. Rager and Jefferson.
Yep.
Mike Williams just got a really good team.
People that forget that Jalen Rager was drafted in front of Justin Jefferson.
And Blake Jarwin, he got by with 1 point from Hayden Hurst and Greg Yeo in Seattle. That's on Seattle. That's big, like Shaq and a Celtics jersey vibes.
Good comp. Very good comp. Oh, that's fun, man. That's good. Sean looking back at his 43rd place team, saying he had Tevin Coleman on that bad boy. Oh. That's sweet. That's great.
Yeah,
The Mitten part 2 from
the
the
Mitten
first
part
year.
2, 12.5K in prizes. What was first place here?
2,800 entries. This is memory lane, baby.
Just a little baby contest. Just a small little baby contest. Good
Yeah.
times, man. Oh, look at these dailies. You got some dailies here. Little mini
Oh,
royale.
yeah.
What was this one? Oh, a super overlay. Oh, these are 12-person drafts. Holy crap.
12-person. Wow. How far we have come, dude.
I know.
Incredible.
That would fill in an hour. Good stuff.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Man, like it kind of like brings it all full circle though. When you were on Bindle's show the other day talking about like what the future of this industry could look like a little bit and like how we got started. And now we're, May 24th, 200 people watching us do a Pomeranian draft. Like this is just like how this scales, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I got a good kick out of you guys saying that like they need like this industry needs like a Doctor Disrespect or something like that. Someone to go full heel turn on this business. Well, for people forget it, for the Dr. D lovers out there, I mean, I am the 2-time Nez, the original 2-time back-to-back dunk champion. The first time the contest was ever introduced, when I became Hoops guy, that can be my 2-time. I could be the 2-time for the people here if need be.
I love it. It could be you. It could be you. We don't need you to take a heel turn though. You already have enough haters.
That's true. Fuck yeah. All right, man. Let's tie a bow on this bad boy.
Yeah.
We could do memory lane all day there. Still got 200 of us hanging out. Appreciate you guys being here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, that notification bell. Consider joining up and becoming a member. Next week, I promise we will do something weekly winners related. We will have Off and On the Clock with Pete on Wednesday for sure. We will do something of the members only variety that will be daily slate focused, basketball, baseball, etc. And anything else, Nez, that you want to tell the good people?
No, I will. I'll see you in the lobbies though. Good luck.
Sounds great. If you guys aren't playing on Underdog Fantasy, please consider doing so. It is the platform of the people. Use promo code MLB at sign up. That gives you a 50% match deposit up to $500 USD. So that gives you 250 free bucks in that account. And that 250, man, that's 10 BBM entries on the house right there just for signing up. Truly incredible promotion. Way better than the 100% match deposit back in the day. I love that they've switched to that.
Yeah, that's huge. So if you're not on here, it's a good time. I just had a buddy sign up actually last night. So we're growing. We're growing. If you see Honey Pack Jack in your lobbies, just know I probably slid him some rankings and I'm like begging him to get into the draft streets.
I love it, man. All right. Best of luck to everybody playing the MLB slate today. Best of luck playing the Puck Street. Get in those Pomeranian slow drafts if you guys want to get that 50 max, because that thing is going to fill quickly. I highly doubt it lasts the course of the weekend. What do you think, Nez?
I think it's Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend. So, yeah, there's no way that this thing is open Monday morning or Monday night.
Fully agree with you there, my friend. All right. On behalf of myself and Nez, everybody's favorite time of the show, the end. Peace.